Good morning, guys. It's Coach Scott. It is Thursday morning here, doing our early morning ride. We're doing the Park Perimeter course in New York. Just making sure the live stream is up and going before I can start to complain about my ride last night. It didn't happen for me. I didn't even get a workout in. It's kind of miserable. There we go. Alright, so everything's working. We got about 40 seconds till we kick off here. Yeah, we had our USA Triathlon Ride last night. Everyone except the leader showed up. I was on my bike about 20 minutes beforehand and just didn't start. They never invited me in. So I talked to some people at Zwift. I talked to the people at USA Triathlon. The overall prevailing thought is that I didn't accept the invitation to go to the ride, but there was never any. In the past, I've gotten listed as the ride leader, and I don't have to do anything. I just make sure that I'm listed, which I was. Just a BT, me and BT this morning. I'm sure Ron's gonna be here in a minute. Yeah, there he is. He's coming. So basically, they didn't invite me into the ride. I tried to solve the problem for like the first 20 minutes to see if I could get back in, and it just didn't work. Because once you pass the start of the ride, you can't go back in and try to figure it out. So, yeah, the prevailing thought is that I didn't. So with these meetup rides, there's basically two statuses: it's going or not going. But with the event rides, there's like this little plus, like a little orange plus or a green check mark. Now, in the past, I know I've been proactive about this. I have emails with the guys that say, hey, do I have to do anything? And they say, no, as long as you're listed as a ride leader, you're good. And I've never done anything in the past to click that thing. So either it defaulted to the orange check mark, in which case I didn't check it off. And I know I didn't do anything to check it off, or I hit it by accident during the week, because I check it a few times during the week to see how many people are going. So that's certainly a possibility too. But either way, I missed my own ride. And the worst part was, well, even worse than that, I think the actually ride probably went okay. The ride itself probably went okay. I loaded it up with text. There was a lot to say. For me, the problem was also I waited all day to do my workout for that 1 hour. And sometimes you have plans. And so for me, the plan was all day. I worked out. I was going to work out from 6 to 7 during my ride. And then I had to shower quick and put Ellie to bed. Because Stephanie had a thing from like 7 to 8 or 7 to 8:30. And I basically was going to have to, no one else could do it. So it was me, default. So at 6:20, kind of figured out that I wasn't riding and I didn't have time. And I was so mad. I was just so mad. And frustrated. And I mean, I probably burned a ton of calories just being angry. And then it was just a crappy night in general. I actually went right to bed after I put the baby to bed. She cried her eyes out. one of those days. That's alright. Today will be different. Today will be better. Get a nice good start to the day here. Last night was just one of those where you just go to bed before anything else can happen. Yeah, I know. You know, it's kind of like, it's like that tragic comedy. It was funny. There are other things going on too in the background, Matt, that you have no idea. My daughter needs braces. I found that out last night. Just stuff like that. It's like, and I had like multiple things at once, just like, on top of not going to the ride, which was the one thing I was looking forward to all day. It's alright. We have a lot of rides today. The 5 a.m. I think the 6 a.m. is going to happen, but I'm not sure. And then we have our Thursday night ride, which I got to finish off the trivia with that. This will be the last night that we play Who Am I? Because Who Am I takes hours to set up. Well, you know what the thing is that my daughter has an appointment, and because I'm divorced from her mom, so we're two separate places. So the last time she had an appointment, her mom took her, and I guess they told her she needed braces. So I don't know if this is the braces appointment, or if this is to find out that she needs braces appointment. She probably needs them. It's not like I didn't know. It was just like, yeah, it's all pain. It's like I'm gonna have to heap thousands of dollars on top of this, and I want a bike. Is that selfish, Matt? Is that selfish? That's my bike money. Yeah. Everything's a payment plan, Matt. Everything's a payment plan. To give you the illusion that you're not spending that much money. Sorry, I'm in my conspiratorial mindset this morning. Everyone's out to get you. That's true. With the Trek credit card? Oh, you mean? Sorry, the payment. I thought you meant the payment plan for the braces. It's only a matter of time before the ordinary marathoner credit card comes out, by the way. I don't know why I picked this course. I kind of hate this course. I want something flat right now. Tomorrow morning, I believe, Ron and I, and maybe BT if she wants to come along, are going to try a early morning FTP test. A bit of an experiment. I don't even want to hear the number of the races. Because they got us parents wrapped around their fingers on that one. Can't exactly say no. It is what it is, whatever it costs. So yeah, my contention has always been that in the morning, my FTP is way lower than what it is in the afternoon. So tomorrow is testing day, which means today I can spend some time on the ride, but I don't really want to push too hard. I don't want to have much residual soreness for tomorrow. Let me talk about yesterday. Yesterday, so again, I haven't been running, so trying to use the ordinary marathon, at least the residualness of the ordinary marathon, where I did run every day, to develop a pattern where I run every day. Make sense? So, trying to be very cautious with it at first. I ran 3 days in a row, took Monday off. I ran Tuesday, and I ran not late at night, but maybe like 7 or 8 o'clock, probably like 8 o'clock. So not, I mean, it wasn't like it was 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Sometimes I do that in the past. And I ran 3 miles. My treadmill has issues, but that's a different story. I ran 3 miles. Felt great coming off that treadmill. It was a workout. Felt good. Walking around all right. The last time I started running, I was getting some knee pain. And so I was trying to be very conscious of that. Knee felt great. So I got to bed about 10:30. And when that alarm rang at 4:30, mentally I had all intentions of getting up. My legs just didn't want to move. They felt like 2 boulders sitting at the front. I couldn't get out of bed. It was like, I call it old man paralysis. I know it stems from the run, but it was really bad. So it was really kind of weird. I felt almost like, you know how people talk about that sleep paralysis? When you're awake, but you're not awake. Shit. I know, Maddie. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. Trust me. I got resumes out everywhere. Sometimes I look for like signs that I'm doing I'm doing the right thing. And some days I have like a couple of consultations with potential clients. It makes me feel good. Have those conversations about training and goals. Those are awesome. Got another Patreon person today. That was really good news this morning. So kind of move forward with that. Thinking, all right, this stuff's starting to work. Maybe it's going to work. We have our trivia rides out now. And like things happen, like I put my resume in for a job that I really was qualified for. Not only was I qualified for it, but I had 2 or 3 people on the inside who put my name forward. And I'm waiting for the call for the interview, and instead I get the email. No amount of stretching is gonna prevent old man syndrome. You're still like 10 years younger than me, dude. What did I do? I would say I stretched a little, but not enough. I wouldn't consider it an official stretching, for sure. Took a hot shower. I walked a little after to kind of cool down, which I normally don't even do. But it didn't really. I mean, I could do more. The answer is yes, I could have done more after the run to kind of stretch things out, but I didn't do nothing. So, and plus I have like a history of just that happens. When I run at night, I wake up in the morning and the legs are just like, you know what it is? This is the test. When you go down the stairs, and eventually I went down the stairs, but not till 7. When you go down the stairs, if you can walk down the stairs like a normal person, you're good. Thumbs up. If you have to hold the railing and go one step at a time, things are rough. I tell you, I think I'm kind of, just from talking to you, Matt, like I'm kind of on the precipice here of trying to change some bad habits. Bad habits like not stretching beforehand, not stretching after, not cooling down, eating better, not snacking the way I snack. We'll see. I feel like I was telling a story and I forgot it. Another part of being old. I haven't weighed myself in over a week now. I'm almost scared to get on the scale. It's not been a week. I think it was earlier this week I did, but definitely the last 3 days I haven't. Marcus Cook. Nope, I don't. YouTuber? Just been in the legs this morning. This is where I want to be. Low 100s. Got a lot of hours on the bike potentially today. I got a big, I'm gonna get the big FTP. Test tomorrow morning. So the plan tomorrow, 500 pounds Tacoma. I feel like I've heard the story, Matt. I'm pretty sure I have, but I don't follow the guy. You know, I think the part of the problem is, it's not a problem. It's actually a wonderful thing. You know, it's like, either some people have a really good marketing machine, or they're just the first to do something, and they get really good exposure. And they influence people to do it like them. So if someone loses 200 pounds and does an Ironman, it's like, wow, that's incredible. And someone loses 300 pounds and does an Ironman, wow, he did better. And it's just always like kind of like a, they're all great stories, but it's like, now it feels like there's so many of them. It's not that they're bad stories, it's just how many of them can you watch at once? Oh no, well that's like me. That's like me. I gotta talk to that guy. Solidarity. Even worse, you know, you can try to look, so sometimes like I keep thinking, all right, maybe there's something out there that I can do that nobody else has done before. And that would be kind of cool. It doesn't even necessarily have to be that hard, you know? It just has to be something no one else has thought of doing before. And then I quit thinking about that because there's nothing else that no one's done before. Yeah, that's Ironman Foundation. Once they take your story and run with it, it's good. I'm not saying he hasn't deserved it. I think it's an awesome story. I'm saying, like, if you wind up seeing a lot of those stories and you just can't ingest all of them. And they're all great. See, like, I'm tired today, and I shouldn't be because I didn't do anything yesterday. And I slept okay. And I'm not really sore, I'm just, Alright, so this is what we think we're going to do for next week. Now, we thought about doing the Zwift racing plan, which I don't think, on second look, wasn't really a plan as much as it was workouts that mimicked courses and workouts that, I don't know, it didn't seem like much of a plan. And like, had no rest days. I don't know about that surgery. I tend to think that the surgery is not necessarily cheating. I feel like maybe there's a legitimate reason. Did he lose it all by surgery, or is it if it's that stomach one, it's like it closes your stomach and you can't eat. So it really kind of disciplines you through necessity. And some people, they have that stomach stapling doesn't work. So they still eat as much as they can, and I think they re-stretch their stomach back out. But I think it counts. I wouldn't take away from that. I mean, people have goals. People have, there's different ways to approach it. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go in and get a liposuction or anything. But sometimes it's those like life-altering things that you just need a little help or a little push. And if you're desperate and you get the surgery, then so be it. Yesterday, Matt, I had a pretty good diet day. So I wasn't on the bike. I only sat on the bike till 6:20, and I got dinner in. I was thinking I was going to eat till 7:30, so it wasn't too late. I usually equate. I don't know. This is just fatigue. It feels like just blah fatigue, morning fatigue. Still working out the kinks, maybe. But I get it, if you're 400 pounds and you start going on a diet, you start losing weight like crazy, and then your neighbor who's 500 pounds doesn't diet and just goes to get the surgery, it almost feels like cheating, right? I get it. But I'm trying not to judge. Well, it's not even that I'm trying not to judge. I get it. If you feel like you need it, if I was 500 pounds and they told me I could just get a surgery and I could be a better athlete and start working, that would jumpstart my athletic stuff, I would do it in a heartbeat. So, not judging, I'm just saying I get it. It almost seems like cheating in a way, but 100 years ago you didn't have that option. I don't like this course. I'm not picking this course again. As you pick a course every day, I think by now, Ron and I both have like, any course that takes an hour or under to finish, I think we've done. So there's no more badges to get. There wasn't any food back. There wasn't enough food. There wasn't PlayStation. The internet. You think about the jobs too. The jobs were down at the factory, in the fields, working hard. Now the jobs are in the office, in the cubicle. or now in your home office, I should say. But a lot of sitting down. I tell you, one big event that changed my life when I started training was I would go to work every day, and for whatever reason, I always felt beholden to the desk. So unless I had like a business meeting for lunch or something, I would go out, I'd get my lunch. Even though technically I had a lunch hour, it always felt like my job was too important that I couldn't. And the fact of the matter is, yes, I could have been gone and something could have happened. Happened all the time. But I had a coworker there to watch over, to make sure, you know. And he would go to the gym a few times a week. And I would say to myself, oh man, I wish I could go to the gym. And then when I decided to do the Ironman, I said to myself, man, I have a whole hour in the middle of the day. I could go to the gym, just like my coworker. And all of a sudden, I flipped that switch, and I just stopped caring about that 1 hour. That was my hour, and I was going to take it. So I'd go work out, I'd ride or run, we'd do the elliptical for 45 minutes or lift. And that was 45 minutes of my day that I wasn't sitting on my butt doing nothing. I tell you, one of the things, so a lot of people say, oh, that weight snuck up on me. Oh, I gained weight, it snuck up on me. Right? You gain a pound a week for, 6 months. The next thing you know, you're up 30 pounds, 25, 30 pounds, whatever it is. And you're like, oh, it snuck up on me. When you're gaining a pound a month, or a pound a week, I mean, yeah, the literature kind of, we talked about this yesterday, Matt, it kind of equates around 3,500 calories per week to 1 pound. You think about the things that you can do to either burn or not eat 3,500 calories per week. It's 500 calories a day. It's that bagel with cream cheese. It's that piece of cake or that bowl of ice cream or the second bowl of ice cream. Or it's 45 minutes on the elliptical. Boom. 500 calories a day. For at least for 5 days a week. And that's 2,500 calories. You're pretty much there. That's true too, Matt. Water is important. By the way, a couple weeks ago I mentioned I was going to carry my water bottle around. And I've been doing that. Some days with more success than others. Some days, I have a bad habit of going to Dunkin' Donuts to get coffee. So in the morning I go get coffee. And then sometimes I just feel, it's not even because I want the coffee, it's like I need to get up and move and do something. I think it stems sometimes from that want of doing that 1 hour workout in the middle of the day. So I get up, leave the house, just to kind of change things up for a few minutes, and I get another, like I get an iced coffee in the afternoon. And so all that liquid, which isn't so bad coffee, but I don't think it's doing you any favors with the hydration. You need, it's like you're drinking all the time, so you don't think to drink the water when you should. I can't ride this course either because this rock right here brings back such flashbacks of running Harlem Hill and nearly throwing up at the top. Steph and I did a couple loops one year. I remember thinking I was going to get like a 15-mile run in. I remember getting up this hill the second time, and we had done about 10 miles. And I was like, I was not in good shape. So every time I see that rock, it's like flashbacks. Well, yeah, I have been carrying around the water bottle. I would say on a bad day, I only fill it once. It's probably like 22 ounces. So I need to fill it like 3 times a day. Some days I get that. Most days not. Some days I get 1. Most days is 2. Most days 2 bottles of water. And obviously I drink water when I'm here riding. But I don't know if that necessarily counts. You're just trying to maintain your hydration levels here. But I mean, that's kind of what I was saying yesterday, Matt. It was, you know, talking about like drawing a line and starting over. And I'm certainly guilty of that a lot of times. But right now, you know, I feel like that terminology sometimes, drawing a line and starting over, is like, it's negative. It suggests that everything you're doing is bad. And you have to erase it, start with a new plan. And maybe it's just terminology. And I'm complaining about nothing, but, you know, sometimes it's just an evolving process. So for me, yeah, and this I told you this yesterday, like, I feel good with my cycling. I am getting tons of miles in every week, every month. I mean, I think I looked the other day at my 30 day on Zwift, and it said I had done like 650 miles in the last 30 days. That's a lot. And I know you've done 1,000, but you know, just in sort of normal everyday training, I'm doing 600 miles a month. And that part feels good. I mean, my bike training feels on point. There's a lot of other facets to triathlon. I'm not like a cyclist. I don't ever do cycling races. I don't think I would ever really do just a bike race. I think I hate the thought of drafting people. I can't go fast downhill without someone picking me up and taking me down. But if I'm going to do better in triathlon, I have 2 other disciplines other than this that I have to pay attention to. I haven't been swimming at all, and I'm expecting to kind of get back into that in like January, latest February. And the running I pushed to the side, never did. So now for me, my goal right now is to bring the running back into the fold. So I started over the weekend. And really, maybe that's what I should have done last night. But then I would have been threatening my rides today. Who knows? I don't know. See, I think too much. I just do it sometimes. But, yeah, it's strange. You know, I look at my schedule this week, right? So I ran Tuesday. I was supposed to ride yesterday morning, but didn't. I was supposed to ride last night and didn't. But those were rides on the schedule. Today, same thing. Ride in the morning, ride in the afternoon. And then FTP's tomorrow. And I also am doing the mile test tomorrow afternoon too, as long as the weather's nice. I'd rather do it outside than in. So hoping I can do that. I cannot afford a mountain bike, unfortunately. It's not even an option. Or riding outside at all would help, right? I think I rode outside once. Well, Again, I didn't do it. I don't think I did a real workout outdoors all summer. So that's it, man. That's the major. And I still have this floppy freaking hood cover. This doesn't help. This thing came off during Lake Placid. You know why I think? I think because I was holding it so tight going down Keene. I think I just ripped the whole thing off. It doesn't go back on. Doing well here, guys. I gotta give out the rest of the prizes today. Yeah, you know, I gotta tell you that. So one question is, and Ron, if you're listening, you can answer this too. When it comes to handling, how much of it is fear and how much of it is skill? So in other words, I could practice all I want going downhill 50 miles an hour. You lose that handle, you get the swervy wervies, and one time, and you're screwed. So every time I go down Keene descent, I'm feathering the brakes. I hit 30. I think the highest I hit was 39 miles an hour. I think that was like, I felt like I was way too fast. I think the first year I did it, I was 35 miles an hour. Even that felt like I was losing control. And I don't know if it's because I've never been in that 45, 50 mile per hour range. And I see these guys going down in their aero bars. How much of it is they've been training to do it and they feel confident doing it, and how much of it is they're taking a chance? I don't know. Well, you see these guys sometimes going down the mountains in the Tour de France, and man, God bless them. So as the confidence builds up, the fear dissipates. Maybe that. And maybe there's a stupidity factor too. I don't know. I mean that in the kindest way. Yeah, the hill leaving the oval. You know what's funny about the hill leaving the oval? Is that there's a, and I don't know if you've ever seen it, there's a video out there. The guy goes in a truck and he just drives the course. And he gives you some tips and pointers of things going on in the course. It's actually a really good video. But the course has changed over the years, so it's not the same. Anyway, he goes into a very detailed explanation about that hill and the turn at the bottom, and how, I mean, it's a dangerous turn because you can pick up tons of speed on that hill, and then it's a 90-degree left. And so, in particular, they put up hay bales, and the guy makes a comment like, every year, someone thinks that they're Lance Armstrong going down the hill and flies into the hay bales. I'm like, okay, got it. That ain't gonna be me. And so I do gather speed down that hill, but then I kind of, I don't let it go. I certainly don't just fly down that hill with no brakes. And I told you what happened to me last year and the water bottle flew out, which was really annoying. And the worst part about that was I put the water bottle in my cage under here, my frame cage. Thinking that it was going to be fine. And I turned that corner and the water bottle flew out. And I had a decision to make, which was go pick it up, which is kind of what you should do. I did roll to the side of the road, so it wasn't like any other rider was going to run over it. That's the main fear. My fear was that there was going to be an official there, and they were going to get me for littering. Because that's a spot where there's tons of people. So I stopped the bike, picked up the water bottle, and then started going. And then realized like there's a little bit of a hill. It's just a little lump going out of town. But if you carry speed down that hill, it's like nothing. You know, it's like a little tiny lump. But if you have no speed coming down that hill because you stop to pick up your water bottle, next thing you know, you're working. And you're doing work just to get over that little lump. And unfortunately, once you make the decision to stop and get the water bottle, it's not like you walk up back up the hill and get that speed back. And not that, you know, not that it killed me for the rest of the race, it was just frustrating. And all those little times you exert early on, eventually you're going to pay its, you know, take a toll later. So, is that Ron? 7 point, look at you. Ron's getting bored. Oh, I see what you were doing. You didn't even get the jersey. I'm sorry, man. I could have contributed to that. Instead, I'm going 130. I'm talking about speed. I like that hill too, Matt. So like the hill that you leave town and you go towards the ski jumps. That's a nice hill too. Because once you hit the top of that, you're just coasting down. You can pick up some speed. The problem with that hill, so the first year I did that race, yeah, I know I could have helped. Instead, I'm just like lollygagging in the back at 120 watts. Yeah, the problem with that hill, for me, is the first year I did that race. Now, mind you, this is the first time I was ever on a race course with other people. So I'm trying to like kind of be respectful of the rules, very mindful of what's going on. And by the time I got out of transition, I was in with a group, tons of people. There were just tons of people at the time. So I'm trying to kind of keep my distance behind people and stuff. But there are too many people going fast. So it's like, it's just a nut show. It's just, I didn't want to drop the S word. But yeah, leaving town, I mean, people are breaking rules. People are, you know, but it's too crowded. It's not like they're meaning to. And then people are flying by you. You know, what I find too is that there's a lot of slow swimmers. I say that with all respect, because people who are slow in the swim and fast on the bike. And so I'm like medium on the swim. I get out in like an hour and 25 minutes, which is kind of pretty good for me. And there's still enough people behind me. But I think a lot of cyclists are bad swimmers. And they get out of the water, you know, at 2 hours, hop on that bike, and then they're trying to make up time, and they're passing you. So going down that big hill towards the ski jumps, what happens is at the base of that road, where River Road is, you might know what I'm going to say, is that it shifts. So you're in the left lane of the road, and the road curves to the right a little, and all of a sudden, for traffic patterns, they make you kind of shift to the right lane. Right, so you're going down the left lane, and then you shift to the right lane. And it's almost like a bottleneck at that point. So you have your slow riders and your fast riders, And the slow riders are in the right lane, but when the lane shifts, they're gonna find, if they go straight, they're gonna find themselves in the left lane. And there's people flying by. And man, was that a dangerous point. That first year I did that. And I heard people were yelling at each other, screaming at each other. And I learned quickly that you really need to be alert sometimes. But they weren't yelling at me. I was fine because I was being alert, but I learned quickly from watching the other people, the fast people, coming down and getting frustrated because the people in the front were not sticking to the right and not shifting to the right. I learned right away that it's not easy out there. And of course, the potential disaster in a situation like that. By the way, we're almost done with our ride here, right? Crap. Have a good day, Ron. Have a good day, BT. BT, hang in there. Come on, let's do another one. So I think I have a 5-minute break, and then they should bring me in for another 5 minutes. But you know what I'm talking about, Matt? That shift, that lane shift? If it's crowded at that point, it's really dangerous. Alright, we'll take a break here. Have a good day, Ron. Tomorrow morning, FTP test. Let's see if anyone sticks around, or shows up, I should say. Let's see, events. Meetup starts in 9 minutes. Oh, BT says she's going to that too. I talked to Lauren last night. We'll see if she comes today. But she doesn't have it checked off, so we'll see. Just gonna take a little break here, Tabby. We'll see how it goes. All right. Are you still riding? You're still riding. I think I'm gonna get a little stretch. Sometimes what I say is just takes a little time on your feet and get back on the bike, and it can be rejuvenating. We'll see. I'm not gonna sit here for 10 minutes, try to entertain you. Keen especially, I mean, part of the problem is some of these people, I think especially with the advancement of things like, what we're doing now, Zwifting. If you train all the time indoors and you're not on trails, take a break, BT. I'll see you in a few minutes. But if you train all that time and you're not on trails, and you don't get that feeling for being outside, that handling, and when I say handling, I don't mean necessarily surviving the downhills and hitching a ride, that kind of thing. What I mean is being able to keep your bike going straight and headed straight. And sometimes when you ride outdoors, man, I tell you, sometimes if you kind of lose your train of thought, you ever do this? You're riding on a trail by yourself, and you see a stick on the trail, and so you keep an eye on it, make sure you don't hit it. And what happens when you keep your eye on something? You run it over. So it's like you keep your eye on it, I'm not going to hit that. And so you develop the skill not to do that, right? You develop the skill to do things like, all right, I'm going to shift lanes, take a quick peek over my shoulder to see if anyone's there, right? And the problem is, for a lot of people, and we work this when I coach people. Is that a drone over my head? See that drone? There's a drone. Anyway, So part of the problem is when you do this to look over, your natural tendency with the bike handlebars are to turn. And if you do this in training and you put some concerted effort into it, you learn how to do it without keeping the bike straight. So for me, I have to literally make it a conscious thought. Hold my bike handlebar straight, look forward, make sure that I'm on a spot where if I turn my head quick, I'm not going to crash, I'm not going to hit anybody. There's like a whole conscious decision making point just to do this. And to hold the bike steady. But yeah, so when you're going down Keene, and I gotta tell you, I've done this race how many years now? So 2017, 2018, 2019, 3 years. It has gotten worse out there in just those 3 years. And granted, those are the 3 years when Zwifting actually came about, took more to prominence, so it's more likely. But that's what I blame it on. People going out and racing without any time, or very little time. All right, here we go. Join the event. Without any time on a live course, and just not knowing how to handle the bike. And so what happens is you're passing somebody. Well, two things. One is they don't know the rules. I don't know about looking under. You look under? I don't know if I think to me that's even worse. I kind of just give it like a turn like that. You could look under. I guess. I feel like people do either. I think I've seen people do both. But yeah, the two problems are, number one, they can't handle the bike, so they're shifting left and right. So they're looking over their heads and they're looking over their shoulder, and their bike is turning. They're just not very. Yeah, BT. Look at you. This could potentially be your longest ride. I'm just gonna stay steady here for the next 3.5 minutes, then we'll get going again. See if Lauren comes. Yeah, I guess theoretically you could practice on Zwift. The only thing is you won't know if you're turning your bike. You couldn't practice it. And just be aware of how you're leaning, right? Because if you're leaning, right, that means your bike's gonna sway. And if you can keep your, probably pressure on your right, from here, now I'm in arrow, but pressure on your right side and kind of look over or look under. So anyway, the problems was people that can't handle their bike, number one, and two is people that just don't know the rules. You're supposed to go to, it's called an athlete briefing before the race, and they kind of go through all the rules, especially riding and drinking coffee at the same time. You guys can't see that because it's under the chat. This is what BT says. She says, I've got to master the skill of riding and drinking coffee at the same time, and get a mug that holds in the heat because it's cold out there out here in the garage. Oh, in the garage. You guys are in the garage, man. You got to get a space heater. I'm sure Ron has a space heater. Oh, man. But yeah, they do the athlete briefing before the race, and they tell you the rules. They go through really good detail. And as a new rider, I think that was necessary for me. And I think they usually do 2 of them, just to make sure if you can't make one, you make one. You make the other. Because it's the first time you go out there. It was my first bike race, so I didn't know what to think. I had only been out on trails just joyriding, training. But literally, I would ride 63 miles on this trail, and there's not many people out there training. Most people are out there just enjoying the day. Oh, that could be too. You know who would know that is Matt. If you left your bike out in the cold, would it sort of, yeah, I don't get worried about those little spelling. You know, one of the things that bothers me, one of my pet peeves is when people say, oh, I got the medal in the race, and they spell it METAL. Half the time it's plastic anyway. That's it. Yeah, when I was in Mont Tremblant, there were definitely big groups of people that were drafting. And I don't know if they get penalized or not. I also know that when my friend Joe did Syracuse, that he got penalized. He was riding and he came up against someone who's on his team. So he rode next to him and started chatting with him just for a little bit, and which is not allowed. And some other guy rode by him, went to pass him. He said, hey, you guys shouldn't really be like that. You shouldn't be chatting. And my friend said, oh, well, it's not like there's any race officials out here. And then the guy pulled out his badge. And he got like a 3-minute penalty or something. But the athlete briefings, I think, are great. And they do teach you the rules. And they teach you how to get out there and use them. They give you really good examples of how you don't screw up. And I feel like if you're at that athlete briefing, doing something simple, something really simple, like if you're going slow and there's no one in front of you, stay to the right. And if you do that, you stay to the right, you don't have to do a lot of this unless you're passing somebody. You don't have to do any of this at all. Just stay to the right. How many slow people getting past with nobody in front of them are not on the right, and I don't get it. Oh, cold bikes. Does it affect you? I know I go all over the place. So if your bike is outside and it's in the cold, and you get up in the morning, does it take time for the bike to warm up? Does it take time for the gears to shift properly? I guess if there was ice on it, that would be one thing. So Ron and BT, they have everything set up in the garage. And it's that time of year where it's getting cold. I tell you, my basement, thank God it stays warm. My basement actually stays warm in the winter better than the rest of my house. Probably because the furnace is back here. That makes sense. But it's kind of weird in this house because in the summer I come down and it's cold. And in the winter, I come down and it's warm. All right, BT, you and me. I hang in there as long as you want to. Matt probably treats his bikes really nice, though. He probably has them hung up in his bedroom. He like lays one out under the covers. North Carolina is not cold. I'm pretty sure Ron is on top of his bike maintenance, not like some other people I know. I took apart my treadmill yesterday. I thought I needed to tighten up the belt, and I gotta tell you, either those screws are rusted on, or they're as tight as they can go. There's no more tightening happening there. And it might be that they're just rusted on. It's been 5 years since I didn't even know they were there. I cleaned it all out. hoping it'll work better, but I gotta be honest, I don't think it's gonna work better. I didn't really do enough. I didn't make any kind of major changes. I feel good about getting a lot of work in on these rides. Just getting some more time in the saddle in the mornings. These days when I do 2 rides, I do feel better about myself when I'm done. Oh, I do that all the time. My treadmill reminds me. And for some reason, the thing is, it knows, and I don't know how it knows. So if I let it go, it'll say, lubricate walking belt. And I'll just say it. And the funny part is if I do it, it'll stop saying it. And if I don't, it'll keep saying it. And I'm like, how does it know? Because the process itself is very manual. It's not like I'm flipping a switch and saying, hey, there's going to be some kind of sensor there that knows. That thing I actually take care of. The other thing is it gets dirty. So over time it just gets dirty, salty, gross. And I do have, I keep these down here. I don't keep them on the treadmill, but usually I wipe it down. Sometimes I don't. Usually I do. But still, like, there's certain parts of the machine that gets gross. I mean, if you're racing in July, you know it's not going to be 10 degrees outside. And if it's 30 degrees outside, the hell if I'm going in the water. But, no, I appreciate the outdoor runners. Typically this is like, you know what, I tell you what it is. Especially in the winter, when it's like 7 o'clock at night and it's pitch black, and you haven't been able to get your run in, you don't have an excuse. Oh, well, it's cold and it's dark and it's gross and snow, and you just don't have an excuse. I'll tell you what though, I did 4 miles outdoors, and I did more miles inside, and the outdoor miles were way more taxing on my legs and soreness at the end. The thing too is pacing. In some ways it's good, right? In some ways it's great. In some ways you go on the treadmill and you can kind of throw in a mile per hour and you're just working that pace. If you're doing like a tempo run, something where you're supposed to be consistent, you just throw it on that pace and you go. You know? There's no, unless you physically touch that button, you're not changing your pace. When you're outside, A, you don't know how fast you're going, unless you're checking your watch constantly. Even that, it's not, your watch pace is never perfect. It's always an estimate. You have hills to deal with, so things make it a little different. And You know, if you're doing the middle of a tempo run, you have 2 minutes left, and you're feeling kind of gross, it's kind of easier to just consciously just take a step back and slow down, as opposed to the treadmill. You actually have to push the button. There's that rock. Some roads with street lights, it's, you know, you have to just make the conscious decision of where you're running down. I tell you, I've seen some guys outside running at night with dark clothes. We almost hit one the other night. He was running kind of on the line in the road, in a spot there's no sidewalk. I always run on the sidewalks too. Some people, like, even though there's sidewalk there, they just gotta run on the road. It's a little more even, but a whole lot safer on the sidewalk. Up the hill, up the hill. This is a good effort for me. All right. It'll be interesting to see how fast we get around the loop without Ron. I tell you, so I don't live in really a wooded area, but we have portions of woods. We have like conservation lands, and there are certainly like tracts of land that have tons of animals. We live near Enfield, Connecticut. It's one town over. We're on the Massachusetts-Connecticut border. And they have a huge prison complex there. And so you ride by, you see this huge prison complex. It's on tons of land. And so I was driving my daughter to her tennis lesson last night. and you drive near this land, and all you see is deer. We saw a bobcat out there once. Just kind of weird. But some of my neighbors have been posting. We have like a town Facebook board. They've been posting pictures of coyotes. Someone posted something that looked like a wolf. But we're not really supposed to have wolves around here. And someone said it was a coy dog. I don't know. I'm not an expert. So we have coyotes and there's bears. In the winter, you don't really have to worry about the bears. I don't worry about them when I'm cycling. When I'm running, I certainly do. I can outbike a bear. I can't outrun a bear. And then I think of all these ultra runners doing the trail runs in the middle of the night. And I'm like, geez, if those guys aren't scared, what am I doing? Why am I worried? Morning, Kathy Biggs. When are you coming on a ride on Thursday night? I can outbike a bear. But they are fast. You've seen those videos, right? Where like they chase guys on bikes. They are fast. Was there one of like a buffalo? Like buffalo came out and was chasing a guy on a bike. There was a bear on the trail that I ride. Into Framingham, Connecticut, and they saw a bear there. It was like they wrote articles about it and stuff. The bear wasn't really bothering people. A couple people saw it, and then they kind of, I think they blocked off a certain area of the trail for a little while. That's the trail that I usually ride, and the way I looked at it was, there's enough people walking on that trail that I don't really have to outrun the bear or outride the bear. I just gotta outride the people walking. Some legitimacy to that. It wasn't just a joke. So yeah, man, I'm coming up, I think, the 12th. I gotta verify it one more time. I've made all these plans to switch the date. So, this is the way things work in the time of COVID. I was gonna go up and get my bike fixed at Matt's shop, Jason Remington's shop in New York. It's like a 3-hour drive. So I was gonna bring my bike up, do a little video, and I told my daughter Sam about it, and she got really excited to go with me. It's a long day. It's like a 3-hour drive. Get the bike fixed, hang out, do a video, turn around, eat some food, turn around, come home. So it turned out that they do this class. It's for like, my daughter's 11, and it's a babysitting class, right? So how to be a babysitter kind of thing. And then you can you know, if you want to get babysitter jobs, you can tell people you took the babysitter class, right? She's still too young. I don't think I would have an 11-year-old babysit, but it's good for her to anyway to understand. So we signed her up for this class like months ago, a couple months ago, and it was on the calendar, and it turned out that it was this weekend. So I said to myself, all right, by the way, this goes to my bad day yesterday too. I think this just adds to it. So I said, all right, I could go by myself to go see Matt and get my bike fixed, but she really wanted to go, and if I go by myself, like, then I leave her here with Stephanie, and Stephanie's got the baby, so it's like, not that it's too much, it's just, you know, see if we can make it easier. So, my mother-in-law is coming up in 2 weeks, and I called her, I said, hey, I'm going to take Sam, Steph's going to be with the baby, actually Steph's going to New York that week, so she's going to have the baby for a day, is that all right? And she said yes. Then I called up Jason, I said, hey, I know I said I'm coming up this weekend, and I know you got all the parts for the bike. Is it alright if I wait one more week, come up next weekend? He says, yeah, no problem. And I have to call Sam's mom. I said, hey, I know it's your weekend, but if you don't have any plans, alright, if I take Sam on Saturday for the day, we were going to do something that she really wanted to do, and because of the babysitting class, I can't do it. And she said, yeah, we're good, you can take her. And literally minutes after going through a 3-step process, I get an email from our recreations department that because of COVID, the babysitter class is canceled. So it's like, it's one of the few times in life where had I just been a little bit lazier and not made all those phone calls, I wouldn't have had to, because then I would have just taken Sam. And now it's like to make the calls again and unwind everything, I don't want to do it. So we're just going to leave it in place. And we're going to come up on the 12th. Yeah, I think the animals typically, you're right, Matt, they leave you alone. Did you see that video with the mountain lion? That was pretty sick. You're doing good here, BT. We can do that too, Matt. You gotta see how the day goes, I think. See how much time it takes. I do want to get back on the road and get back, but we could do like an early dinner maybe. I don't care. You want to go out, you want to stay in. The only thing is I may have, I gotta check with my friend Joe. So my friend Joe lives in Syracuse, and he said he might come up just to say hi. I know New York has tons of rules too about dining. Do I have to drive through Syracuse to get to New Hartford? Or is it on the other side, or is it out of the way? I bet it's out of the way. I make that noise a lot. Alright, let's do that. I got my mother-in-law home with the baby. And I think either way, no matter what time I'm going to get home, it's going to be after bedtime, but another hour, huh? Jeez, I thought you guys were closer. I thought it was more like a half hour. Hey, we didn't do so bad here, BT. 23:20. Within a minute. There's John Metz saying right on. He's the guy from USA Triathlon. He's the guy I had to talk to last night. All right, 23:22. About 40 seconds. Minute. Minute. Texas Roadhouse could be a good idea. Alright, we're more than halfway done here. 22 minutes to go. Back on Fifth Avenue here. This is my old hood. Guggenheim Museum. I say that like all the time. Gonna have to deal with Harlan Hill one more time. So the idea, man, on Saturday, next Saturday, is you have to get up early and go. I mean, I was thinking of trying to just get there when the shop opens. I thought that was like 10 or 11. Of course, assuming we don't hit traffic, which shouldn't be a big deal. It's holidays though, so who knows. Going through Albany. You know, this is what we'll do, Matt. My thought was to ride in the morning, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Because I got to get the bike ready and stuff. So we'll probably leave, I don't know, 6 or 6:30. And then if we get out there in time, maybe we'll go to Syracuse quick. Then I can say hi to Joe. I don't know if we can do that and leave the bike at the shop. We could do that if I get there in time. Just a matter of seeing if I can get an 11-year-old out of bed. Sometimes she gets excited for road trips, though. I remember when we went to see my father in Sarasota. We had to get up at 3:30 to go to the airport. And she was loving it. I'm not taking this hill at 270 like last time. This loop will be much slower. Yeah, she gets really excited when we do like special things, and she'll wake up, she'll jump out of bed. But forget it, if it's school day, forget it. Come on, BT. Let's get up this hill. Get a little drafting boost. Drafting no one. Minutes more. That'll work today. This is good. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know how I'm gonna do an FTP test normally. I don't think I'm built for a morning FTP test. We'll see. Like you can't try it. I tell you, I'm adjusting my seat lately, and just a little bit. And ever since I adjusted it, my left pinky toe when I do long rides this is like a recurring issue for me sometimes. It just gets numb. And for a while there, the way I had the bike, it wasn't getting numb. And I thought I was over that. And I think I had the seat tilted forward way too much. So like I couldn't do this. I couldn't come up into this position. So my seat was tilted too forward and I would slide down. But my foot problem didn't happen. And I feel like the saddle sores were a little less. And I think, when you think about it, kind of makes sense. We talk about 3 points of contact on the bike. If you're leaning forward, putting more pressure on your arms. Less on your foot, less on your butt. I think the other thing in general that's going to help me is if I lose weight, which we're constantly talking about. This releases some of the pressure that's on those points. So, Jason's going to take a little bit of a look at my fit. Maybe help me tweak it a little bit. That's it. I'm looking forward to that now in a week, a little over a week. All right, 7 minutes. I gotta tell you, it is right. It's nice riding with someone. I feel like sometimes I might quit early. Like right now, I'm like, oh, 7 more minutes, who cares? If I was by myself, I might just get off and not do the 7 minutes. I didn't even realize you're on a KOM. But having someone there makes you want to stay on. I don't believe we're going to make it to Harlem Hill again. I think there is a hill up here somewhere. I thought I got the feather. I got the cap. It's just arrow. Someone told, so I have never been using these boosts. I never use them. And then I heard someone say that when you use them, you get experience points. I don't know if that's true or not. But now I've been using them. I saw at 1.4 there, BT. Putting out some effort. I hear you. So basically you wipe it out so you can get a freshie. So if you wipe it out, then you can get experience points at the next one. Gotcha. I usually get 10 when I get those, you know? Yeah. I usually, whenever I get the experience points, it's like plus 10. Like, gee, thanks. But that makes sense. Starting to get light out outside. That's good. These have been riding a while. Alright, now it's just weird. So, 23:10. Honestly, I didn't feel like that was my best effort of the day. I feel like I was even better than when we had Ron with us. Am I wrong? Didn't I just say that? I don't even know. I am out of it today. I thought me and BT were like a minute slower than when we had Ron. But we were a minute faster? What am I thinking? And now we just went 12 seconds faster than that? Damn. And you were cooking. BT was cooking around that one. So who knows? I don't understand. I don't understand this mode anymore. Oh wow. So basically I should get a TT bike on these rides. And we're done. Good work, BT. Way to hang in there. Oh, you got a jersey too? Look at that. You got the jersey. That's awesome. Alright. Ready to go shower, get my day going. Could be. Could be. I don't know. All right, guys. Here, we'll check it out. Check out the ride quick. Now that I do these in two rides, you only get to see the second half. 413 calories. All right, that's what it is. 143. That's just cruising too. So I feel good. Feel good about today. We'll call it quits. I'll see you guys tonight, Thursday night ride.